Hi, I'm Kerry Padrick, your host for Eye on St. Lucie. An unfortunate but very real fact is that many in our communities across America suffer from lack of positive nutrition and are food insecure. We know that for many of our friends and families in St. Lucie County, this fact hits home. Students need proper nutrition to achieve at their optimal levels. And in today's show, we will focus on the collaboration of two groups of caring individuals who have pooled their resources and talents to help answer the call to support proper student nutrition in an ongoing effort to fuel today's learners as they develop into tomorrow's leaders. I'm so pleased to have Will Armstead, the Chief Executive Officer of Boys and Girls Clubs, and Deborah Wuest, the Director of Child Nutrition Services for St. Lucie Public Schools, joining me to discuss the new dinner program afforded to students in Boys and Girls Clubs after-school programs throughout the district. Well, I'm so happy to have all of you joining us here today to talk about something that is so very important in the lives of children, and that is their nutrition. Because we know that for students to achieve at their very optimal levels, they've got to be well fed and they've got to be secure. And so we've got Boys and Girls Club with St. Lucie Public Schools working hand in hand to make sure that we can help as many of our students as possible. Mr. Armstead, you are the Chief Executive Officer for Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie County, which is more than 3,000 students as members, but better than that, you touch the lives of over 8,000 students every year. That's tremendous. So tell us a little bit about what you do and your organization.
Well, I tell you, we are just, number one, before I tell you what we do, we're just so ecstatic to be partners with the St. Lucie Public Schools. We have some core areas that we work with our students: academic success, building good character and citizenship, and living a healthy lifestyle. And as part of that, we're always looking at opportunities to touch all three of those core values that we have for our youth. Like you said, we touch over 8,000 students a year, or members as we call it, and we serve just about 3,000 plus members every day at either our school-based clubs or at our neighborhood clubs.
And just like within the school system, it's so important to have great teammates on board, and you have Miss Melanie Wiles here, who is instrumental in the program. What is it that you do with the Boys and Girls Club?
So I am the Chief Operating Officer, and I have the pleasure of overseeing our operations, which is our 19 clubs, as well as our resource development team, which brings us all the resources we need to serve all of those children we were just talking about.
And resources include food items, which we have Ms. Deborah Wuest from Child Nutrition Services with St. Lucie Public Schools. You and your team are busy sun up to sundown, basically. And the idea that we could partner together came about from a meeting over the summer.
Yes.
And boy, that sparked some excitement and got this program going. Tell us what it is that you and your team are doing.
Well, currently we're offering some breakfast, lunch, and now supper to all of our Boys and Girls sites, which we're very, very excited about this partnership because then the students have an opportunity to receive a meal after school. So many times they don't have that opportunity when they get home, so they have an opportunity to continue that nutrition in the afternoon. So currently we've started this program, and it's doing very well. It's been a great partnership. Like, we started in the summertime just talking about it and how we can expand it into the community because there's such a need.
So, Will, whenever we started really exploring this, it had to be seeded with some concerns or some thoughts or some things that you were seeing in your after-school activities, hearing from your children. What was the catalyst for this?
I think typically Boys and Girls Clubs, we're seated in neighborhoods. And most of those kids walk to our neighborhoods or bus to those neighborhoods, and not most, but a good portion of them have food insecurities. And so we started thinking through this, and Melanie and I started talking about, what about our school-based sites? It's not necessarily just the food insecurities, but parents are so busy. Pick up your child at 6 o'clock, you got to pick someone else up from another place, and then you got to get home. By that time, it's 7:15. What is the kid eating for dinner? Or are they eating dinner? Do the parents have time for dinner? What is family time? Is there an opportunity for families to spend more time together? And so when we approached the school district, we were very happy that you guys didn't flinch and said, that's something we can do. We just got to work out the logistics. And the logistics, you guys did it so seamlessly. Like, I'm very excited that we didn't have to go through a lot of red tape to make it happen. And it happened in a way that kids were eating in the beginning of the school year. Parents were happy. When I travel to the schools, the parents are saying, this is a blessing. We're so happy that you guys decided you were going to feed dinner to our kids. And it's not just dinner, it's hot dinner. And it's nutritious for them. And the kids are enjoying it.
Well, you talk about the nutritional value of what they're receiving. I know prior to this, we were providing a snack.
Yes.
And, a snack is one thing, but for someone who, like you said, either goes home and isn't able to have that well-balanced meal, or there's just that busy everyday life that time slips by, and by the time you know it, it's bedtime and I haven't eaten yet. So many, many factors on why it was important to get that meal to as many children as we can. And Deb, you and your team serve breakfasts, you serve lunches, and now dinners. The logistics of that. How many meals do you serve to students a day, and what goes into making sure that it is a balance of positive nutrition?
We have a registered dietitian on staff, and she monitors to make sure that we're in compliance with all of our meals when it comes to breakfast, lunch, and supper. You had mentioned that we used to do snack, which was only 2 components. Now with the supper, they're receiving all of the components with a fresh fruit, vegetable, a protein, a grain, and a dairy. So they get a significant amount of more food with the supper. We are currently feeding over 35,000 meals a day.
A day.
A day, yeah. So just with the Boys and Girls Club, we've kind of started off with a bang with doing about 2,000 meals, so just in suppers. So there has been a lot of training that's going on and that we've implemented, and making sure that the menus are being followed and that the students are enjoying the food. So it's very important to be able to make the food that's nutritious, but also that they like what they're eating and they enjoy and that it tastes good. And having a hot supper on top of it, it's not just cold sandwiches. There's hot supper 3 times a week, and then a nice sandwich twice a week. So 5 days a week, they're getting a supper.
That's pretty awesome. And I know that when we look at children and they're eating and they're enjoying fellowship with one another, that's also a time for them to relax and decompress and really think about their day and develop positive relationships, not only with each other but with the adults in the room. And so multiple benefits from this.
Yes.
And so we work always to meet the needs of children so that they can be the very best that they can be.
Yes.
And from the school district point of view and from Boys and Girls Club's point of view, we work to make sure that as they graduate, they are college and or career ready. But we've got to have the right mindset and the right health habits established. So what are some of the things that you all are doing to work with our school district, not only food-wise, but just to kind of get that whole child approach going within the Boys and Girls Club?
It's been, again, I said this twice already, it's just been a pleasure to work with the school district. I mean, we're working on some new phonics initiatives that you guys have. We work with a truancy program. So we're working on just a whole host of ideas that we can handle this child as an individual versus just a collective group of kids. And so we're looking at trauma-informed care. I mean, we're taking this to a whole nother level in terms of making sure that we are taking care of the whole child.
Very positive alignment in
Very positive
words
alignment.
that you're saying and the resources.
Yes.
And Melanie, you work with the programs, and I'm going to jump to something that may kind of go to all of you, but the programs that you bring to children. many different community resources come in and teach them a variety of things, such as?
So we have a really great partnership with Treasure Health. So they actually come in and teach our kids coping skills, as well as working with them on grief counseling as well. We work with the health department on some more healthy habits pieces. They have a 5210 program that we've rolled out with our kids that I know complements what they have going on in the schools. And really what's great to us is we always talk about there's so many amazing resources in our community. Sometimes our parents just don't know about them or don't know how to get to them. And we're very privileged at our clubs that we can have all of these resources come to us. So whether it's a mental health challenge, whether it's a specialized program with health, we're able to make those connections with the partners, and they are more than happy to come work with our kids inside of our club setting.
So, which brings me to some of the programs that we have that are about being healthy and bringing very positive nutrition elements to the table. Deborah Wuest and her team work with farm to table, making sure that we are bringing the finest and freshest local fruits and vegetables to the table. And not only that, within our school community, we are starting to see a positive momentum taking place with gardens at the school site. Possibly a connection there. Get your pencils out and write it down with some of our Boys and Girls Club after school sites and the garden opportunities that are available for children.
Yes, we have a farm to school grant, and we hired a coordinator for that program where they're going out and identifying school sites to create gardens so students can learn where their food comes from. And they begin to, they get the ground ready, and then they have an opportunity to harvest what they have planted, and then what is harvested is documented and created into the menus. So that's so important. It creates that circle of food, nutrition, and where it comes from, and how to prepare it. The list can go on and on and on of all the great things that we can do. Cooking classes, culinary, learning about the culinary background. But the farm to school table is a big program. Big program.
Awesome.
So maybe we have just unveiled the next newest greatest
Well,
thing.
thank you.
We also have a distinction of being recognized as a healthy school district.
Yes, we
thanks
do.
to the efforts of Deb Wuest and her team. Tell us about that.
We recently have won a silver award in being a healthy school district, and it's with the Healthy Kids and Alliance for a Generation, and because we have met all the criteria of what is entail of providing nutrition, physical activity, all the things that encompasses a healthy lifestyle. We're implementing it in with the school district. So that's a great award. We also have been awarded the Husk Award, which the schools will receive some money for those as well. We have some bronze winners and some silver winners as well that were just being announced. So,
All right. So Boys and Girls Club, St Lucie Public Schools, coming together to help serve our students as operations are normal. But let's go beyond that. This is hurricane season. We've seen devastation happen, unfortunately, to others outside of our state. And we are always prepared for, events, because making sure that we have plans in place is very important, and not having to make knee-jerk decisions. Boys and Girls Club and St. Lucie Public Schools works to feed our community during those devastating times, such as last year and years prior. How does all of that work, and how do you all communicate with each other in times of need like that?
Well, I think that as we continue to progress on, we get better. And so I think this is a great start in feeding our kids, so we will continue to have more discussions and look at our feeding sites, what makes sense. I know last year we opened up several of our club sites because we did have electricity. So a lot of the kids were coming over to our clubs to eat, And then prior to that, the kids were going to the sites, to the school sites that had electricity to eat. So I think we will continue to work together to have a more unified program in place, especially in the upcoming hurricane season.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so not only did we feed at club sites, but we also fed at schools.
At schools,
Yes,
and
we
you
did.
all helped share the word in such a positive way. And
Yeah.
that's really important that we work together on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So they, not only do they get their nutritional needs met, and we've talked about some of the other programs in place, but I know that you all have some core focus areas. You talked about the truancy program and moving kids on to Hope scholarships and things like that. You want to let us know a little bit more about perhaps what your goals and aspirations are for all those wonderful students that flow through your doors?
We have so many programs going on. I'm going to let Melanie talk about those wonderful programs.
So our goal for our kids is for them to graduate with a plan for the future, and that starts with us when they're in kindergarten. A lot of our programs, when they come to us after school, we do, as we talked about, just with the meal to try to meet that basic need for them. We also understand the importance of them completing something as simple as their homework and what that could mean for their family time once they get home. So the first thing that they do at all of our clubs is they will do Power Hour, which is their time to complete homework. They get to do additional educational things such as Moby Max, or they do group reading, and now with the phonics initiative, that's another piece we're adding in. We have a really great gang prevention program that we've rolled out this year, so we're focusing on tweens and teens, teaching them prevention skills. One thing that we just hosted this past week, we teamed up with the Inner Truth Project, and we're hosting as part of our Smart Girls program, it's called CPR for girls, and it's teaching them about healthy relationships. Things that sometimes kids are, they're feeling uneasy, or trying to help them with their self-esteem and how they're making choices with dating, that type of thing. So we're addressing some of those things that are coming up for our young girls as well.
So it's providing the tools and the knowledge that they need in order to work through some things that they experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. And then, also coupled with that, I'm going to jump right back to nutrition. As we coach and encourage and they experience positive, nutritionally balanced meals, then as they become our future leaders, our moms and dads of households, then they recognize the value of it as well. And we are creating
Right.
some very healthy habits for our entire community,
Absolutely.
which is
Right.
positive.
Right.
All right, so we, work together in many, many ways, and we've talked about dinners, but everybody rises to the beautiful sunshine, and breakfast is an important start to our day as well.
Yes, it is.
So what do we do about breakfast within our schools and Boys and Girls Clubs?
Well, the great thing now this year is that we have universal free breakfast for all students this year. So breakfast is free
For every
student
student.
in the district.
Okay, so we're going to say that again. Breakfast is free for every
Every
student,
student.
every day.
Yes.
Pretty
Yes.
amazing.
Yes. So it's so important that parents these days they're in a hurry to get on the road and do the things that they need to do, go to work or whatever it is. Breakfast seems to be that meal that gets skipped so many times, and it's so important that they know that they have that option to take their kids there early to school, or even if they're riding the bus, stop in your cafeterias, get a good breakfast. We want our students eating breakfast because that's what triggers the mind to start thinking and getting ready to learn, so that they can be at their best throughout the school day. So that's very important.
Very good. So now you all can encourage your children
That's
too.
what we have to do, right? Deborah and her team
Yes.
are the experts, and what we do is put the word out, and we let others know that breakfast is free.
Okay. So speaking of putting the word out, you've got some events coming up that are things that the community looks forward to. It's a fundraising opportunity for Boys and Girls Club, so we can continue with the wonderful programs that we have. This is your time. You can shout it from the mountains on what's coming up for Boys and Girls Club and how the community can support.
So we have a Great Gatsby event coming up for our Steak and Steak event, which is on October 19th. And this is, for me, is an opportunity to dress my best, So my wife knows that we're going out that night. We're going to have a fun time. It's going to be at the Port St Lucie Civic Center. Great food, great people, people that haven't seen each other in months. This year, what we've done is we invited every school site that we have, every principal, because we want the principals to know what we do outside of Boys and Girls Clubs. So we've invited every principal with a guest to help have fun with us that night.
Fantastic.
Nice.
And then you've also got some opportunities for students and their scholarships, Youth of the Year, and many people, it's a fantastic opportunity for students, but many people don't know about it. So give us a little commercial about Youth of the Year, one of my favorite events.
Well, we've actually started that process already, so we have our preliminary list of all the kids that are going to be competing for this year. And we are putting together the plans for our Leadership Day, which is kind of the kickoff for Youth of the Year. And then that goes into the competition and eventually the judging and our celebration that everyone's a part of. So what we're doing right now is encouraging our teens to apply. And in order to apply, they have to be committed to filling out the application, which has some essays, and they have to commit to being interviewed, which is a panel, and we do prep them for that, as well as giving a public presentation, a speech, and that is centered around what the club has meant to them and what their vision is for youth, because it's not too often that we get to hear about what a teen's perspective is on how we can change young people's lives. It's a lot about adults trying to tell them, but they have some amazing ideas, and them sharing their challenges and talking about how we can improve things for the next generation to come is really inspiring.
And it is truly inspiring. And a lot of those conversations take place at school, when they're with their friends, when they're in the cafeteria, which is one of the reasons why Deborah and her team have put forth such a tremendous effort. We provide that balanced, nutritious food, but the environment in which our students eat is very important, because that's a time for them. And most recently, we've had a really tremendous update to one of our high schools. Deb, do you want to talk about that?
Fort Pierce Westwood. We have redesigned their cafeteria with some signage. And when the cafeterias are designed in a way that promotes their background, their legacy as a school, it really gets the kids excited. You know, it's about the Panthers and, creating that atmosphere. Kids want to be there. Kids want to eat in there. They want to socialize in there. They bring their families in there. It becomes part of the history of the school. And so we're so excited that we recently remodeled that cafeteria so that the kids can enjoy a healthy meal while they're in the cafeteria. And a lot of the signage, kids like to go and take their picture or sports picture in front of, because they are big, huge
Beautiful.
Yeah, wall-sized logos and pictures. So it's awesome.
Well, and that's one of the projects that's underway, but you've also completed something that's rather unique. It provides mobility to food service within our community, the Bright Bites bus.
Yes, that was a project that we started last year, and it finally got completed. We took a school bus, and we had it high school student designed the logos that would go on the bus, and we had a competition, and a high school girl won the competition.
From Treasure Coast, I believe it was?
Yes, it was Treasure Coast High, and her name, forgive me, I can't quite remember her name right now, but it is beautiful. It really encompasses the background of free meals, and so the idea of this bus is to provide free meals during the summertime for breakfast and lunch at different community sites that may not have an access to go to a school to receive a meal. So that's going to be a big thing that we can utilize not only during the summertime, but we can utilize it during the school year as well. So such as we talked about the hurricanes, being able to get the bus to possibly go into areas that the kids can't go and get a meal. So it's going to have multi-use availability. We're talking about having field trips and bringing that to the schools so the students can have field trips with the bus. So it provides inside. The outside was wrapped with free meals and great great fresh fruits and vegetables and kids. And then the inside, we created tables and chairs, a book library. One of the things we're looking into is putting some TV monitors and computers inside there. So it's a time of fellowship and socialization while the kids have a free meal and a healthy meal.
Very good.
Very
a lot
nice.
of things
Yeah.
going on for the sake of our children and for the
Yes.
sake of our future.
Yes.
So very positive. Well, this is a tremendous collaboration that I know that I appreciate and our community appreciates, and our students certainly are the benefactors of the work that we do together. And we've sprouted one idea here and maybe some more just in
Yeah.
our conversation today. But as we move forward together and have new projects, I welcome the opportunity for us to come together again and share with our viewing audience all of the things that are taking place with the Boys and Girls Clubs of St. Lucie County and St. Lucie Public Schools, especially in the area of child nutrition services.
Thank you.
So I thank you all for being here today.
Thank you.
And look
Thank
forward
you.
to our next
Thank you for
visit.
having us.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm Kerry Padrick, and this is WLX-TV. On behalf of the station's team, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. That's all for this show, but we invite you to follow us, like us, and watch us on our social media outlets. And as always, keep your eye on St. Lucie.